Welcome into the Jordy Culotta Show. Wave your hand out there, baby!
Shout out to the show.
She puts the pinky into the nostril. Man, look at that.
Healthy competition, there's nothing like it.
Y'all grow up.
The line's wrapped around the stadium.
Different strengths.
Mm-hmm.
I just lost a tooth.
It's going to be fun.
You know, we might have a story.
I love what you're doing.
Bergeron wants to take us fishing this afternoon.
Sharif, you play for the bad boys of the SEC, man. We don't apologize to anybody.
A lot of people are saying you're going to be wearing number 7.
I don't really know. I want to. See, look crazy, Bill.
Good feet on the old man.
Definitely come back.
We'll be right back with the Jordy Culotta Show. Welcome into a Friday edition of the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet, live here on this Friday. Make sure you hit that like button, share button, comment button as we start this Friday with you. Going into the weekend, man, it feels like a big game weekend around Baton Rouge. We'll talk all about it coming up here on the Jordy Culotta Show. As we always, appreciate you starting your Friday here with us. Hit the like button, share button, comment button. We're brought to you by Go Chevrolet. Our friends over at Go Chevrolet, G-E-A-U-X. Chevrolet.com is where you can find them online. Brand new cars over in Laplace, Louisiana, with a used car lot over here in Baton Rouge in the corner of Florida Boulevard and Sherwood Forest. I'm watching some of the lowlights of this NFL game last night. I mean, what are they going to do with Thursday night football?
I don't know.
It is just bad.
And I think next week is Chicago Bears and Washington Commanders.
Oh, good.
Sign me up. It's like torture.
Thursday night football high school action last night is where we were over at Woodlawn as Zachary made the trip to Woodlawn to take on the Panthers last night. It was on ESPN as last night our city and the Woodlawn program, Woodlawn campus, was featured on ESPNU. Zachary rolled in there and really just kind of established their dominance after the first half, the first quarter. Ricky Collins, boy, I tell you what though, Ricky Collins, every time you watch him play, he makes some type of play where you're like, whoa. I mean, like, wow. Last night he was rolling to his right once and just kind of zipped it to a guy running a cross route. And Darren DeQuano, who is the editor and cameraman, lead camera on over at WAFB, and for our Dawn of a Legacy documentary that's set to debut on October 20th on WAFB. Man, you can just see that the natural talent that Collins has and how gifted he is in throwing the football. On the other side, a lot what we've talked about in the lead up to this game, I think you just saw the machine of Zachary, right? I mean, like, Zachary is just, they wear on you, man. I mean, they just beat you up in 4 quarters, and by the end of the game, they impose their will, and they just kind of choke you out. I mean, it's impressive to see, them execute those types of wins like they've done so many times under David Brewerton. So thanks again to both schools. Scott Stevens and the principal is the principal over at Woodlawn. He has been so accommodating to us, and he's dealing with ESPN, the national broadcast. The lead up to that was a lot of hard work. A lot of work went into that. We went over there yesterday to grab some of the stuff that we were kind of trying to finish up on the documentary, and you could kind of see it in Principal Stevens' eyes, man. I mean, it was finally game day, and he probably could not wait, for this morning for it to just be in the rearview mirror. It was a couple of months, and the build up. Was awesome, and then last night to have it go through, a lot of hard work, a lot of people behind the scenes. It was cool, and Zachary, they ran away with 33-6, 31-6, I think it was.
I was out in the fourth.
Yeah,
trying to beat the traffic.
It was, after the first quarter, it was tough for Woodlawn, to stay up with Zachary. I mean. Ricky just running for his life.
Almost out there like he was by himself.
I mean, he's just running all over the place, man. So it was cool to be a part of that documentary, and really looking forward to some of the projects that we're talking about that could feature this type of content. Behind the scenes, high school football, big time prospects, big time programs that we can do into the future. And being partnered with such a great organization like WAFB gives us the capabilities of pulling something like this off. So we have a call in to Corey Gaines, who is a former Catholic High standout. He was a 3-year letterman as he finished up in 1994 and then went on to Tennessee, where he had a standout. Career there for the Volunteers. He was all academic, all SEC. He was a guy that was on the SEC championship team for Tennessee. Finished up in 1997. We got to call into him, and hopefully he can swing by and give us a little bit about what's going on with Tennessee leading up to this game. We listened to Josh Heupel. I listened to Josh Heupel's press conference yesterday. I also listened to Brian Kelly's press conference here as we inch closer to game week. And you can tell that Brian Kelly's ready to kick this thing off, right? I mean, his demeanor yesterday and the way that he was answering a lot of the questions was with a touch of sarcasm to some of the stats that the media members were preluding their questions with, where he was kind of spelling out where the media members were kind of spelling out the challenges that Brian Kelly faces today, whether it be with Hendon Hooker and the Tennessee offense, or some of the challenges that LSU's offense may have in getting up and getting moving. So you can tell that Brian Kelly is eager to get this thing moving and kick this thing off. And I think that's the feeling for a lot of us, right? I mean, this is the first time in a long time that I have really felt like, no matter the time, no matter the weather, which the weather looks like it's going to be beautiful, but no matter the circumstances, I believe that tomorrow Tiger Stadium is going to be a great environment. I really do. I think that a lot of us have been waiting on this atmosphere, and specifically waiting for this game. I know this is a game that we've talked about on this show, for months, and to have it finally here, you know, I mean, sure, I would have loved to have played this thing at 2:30. I would have loved to have played this thing at 6:30 on the SEC network. But you're playing it at 11 o'clock, and I'm still going to be there and still can't wait to see what the atmosphere, environment, and game is going to be like. You know, this season, the more it moves further into the schedule, the more for me it feels like, and if anybody's out there that's listening, and I imagine that there are a lot of you out there that can relate to this, being either around my age or can recall the 2000 season in Baton Rouge, right? I mean, for me, I was, you know, like a freshman in college. I mean, you know, like almost height peak of fandom for college football and specifically LSU. And that was Nick Saban's first year, right? And you could feel the buzz of the season as the time went on and the Saturdays were rolling on, and you could feel LSU was getting better. Even a UAB loss early in the season, in fact, the week before the Tennessee game in 2000, still couldn't stop, you know, I think 93,000 from showing up the following Saturday to support LSU. I mean, think about if that was to happen a couple of years ago at LSU. If, you know, Troy came in here like they did, won the game, what the atmosphere would have been like the next week against a team like Syracuse. You remember how putrid and bad and just horrible that environment was? And they lost that game. And that turned into, Tiger Stadium just not even filling up and always emptying out. I really feel like tomorrow that it doesn't matter that this game is at 11 o'clock overwhelmingly. Like, I think it's a storyline that we've been able to talk about all week, and, you know, it kind of aggravated and annoyed the people that were close to the situation, or even the fans, and, you know, the desire to tailgate. I know firsthand, obviously, that our partners over at WAFB, the CBS affiliate here in Baton Rouge, were very unhappy with the decision that the league office, that the television executives made on these games. I know that LSU's administration was upset that this game was not, you know, featured in a primetime slot. And I think it went all the way up to the league office in Birmingham of, you know, people that were pissed that this game's not being featured. Because if you look now, I mean, take a step back and look at this Saturday now, right? I mean, how long have we talked about this Saturday? I mean, since last year, since the spring. And then in the summertime, when Saban and Fisher went back and forth, this thing became like almost a big-time event type weekend that we were pointing towards. Oklahoma and Texas are playing. Auburn and Georgia, one of the oldest rivalries in college football, is meeting up this weekend. Alabama is playing Texas A&M. And Tennessee is playing LSU. Take a step back now and look at all those games. The games between CBS of 2:30 and 11 o'clock on Saturday have a combined 54.5-point spreads. 54.5. Georgia's favored by 30 over Auburn, which doesn't feel like it's enough. And Texas A&M is getting 24.5 points. Some places have it 25. With Alabama favored over Texas A&M. Texas and Oklahoma doesn't have the draw that it once had. The game of the day is in Baton Rouge. Or at least it looks like it is going into the weekend. And the further you get away from those television executives making that decision, the funnier it almost gets to point back and laugh at them and saying, how and who screwed this up this bad? And you want a cherry on top? Texas A&M's quarterback broke his hand and he's now out for the season. News came out yesterday that Max Johnson is going to miss the remainder of the year due to a broken hand, a broken bone in his throwing hand. I hate that for Max Johnson. He was the best quarterback on that team, but the game on Saturday between Texas A&M and Alabama has just taken another whack. Meanwhile, in Baton Rouge, the atmosphere is starting to buzz and get ready for Tennessee and LSU kicking off at when? 11 a.m.? Sweet. It'll be packed. I think it'll be packed. I think it'll be a great environment. I think the weather's going to be right. And it's the first real big-time environment, game, atmosphere that Brian Kelly has been. I thought the Mississippi State atmosphere was fantastic. SEC game coming in, but it didn't have the feel that this one has had to the lead up, right? Like, I mean, we've talked about this one for a long time. This week has felt like it's been kind of like a slow boil to getting it moving, and now it's rolling. You know, I love to, when we get off the air, kind of go through campus and just kind of get the feel of it. What's the Friday morning feel like on campus? What's it look like? What's it smell like out there? People starting to move around. And I really do think that tomorrow is going to be, forget the time, a great environment, a great game, a great day in Tiger Stadium, and one that hopefully a couple of years or deep into the Brian Kelly era, you can look back in the same way that we looked at that 2000 season when Tennessee came to town, where it was the first real win for LSU under Nick Saban. And for the first time, you felt like LSU might be making some movement onto the national scene. And while they've been a player on the national scene for the last 21 years, under Brian Kelly, this could be another moment where you look at and say, man, that Saturday in October when Tennessee came to town with a pro quarterback in Hendon Hooker, a guy that's, you know, making a real run at a Heisman Trophy type candidate season, was throttled. Defense has got to play huge tomorrow, right? I mean, for as much as we've made of Matt House and how big he has been, and he has been, I think, one of the big-time stories of the year of his ability to adjust to the air raid, Mike Leach, freshman quarterback, and Robbie Ashford, creative offense, and Mike Norvell and their quarterback. I mean, he has been able to really adjust, make some moves, analyze some things, and put players in the right spots to get the best out of his defense. And I think he'll have his biggest test tomorrow, and just how he's going to defend this high tempo. I mean, when you watch Tennessee play, the way and ability that they can get to the line in between plays and get set and snap the ball is like, it's crazy how fast they move. I mean, they snap the ball with like 22, 21 seconds on the play clock. You know, I mean, it's a mad, chaotic. There is a sense of you have got to get adjusted to it very, very quick, because it is moving so rapidly in front of your face. Like, it is just rolling, and they are very efficient in the way that they run it. So I think that, you know, I mean, the substitution patterns on how you're getting players in and out of the games, being able to recognize sets and formations and personnel, all of that stuff is going to be pushed tomorrow. And I trust Matt House, man. Like I said, I mean, I think that House is the guy for the job. He's been, you know, one of the most impressive hires early on in just watching him work that LSU has made, man. It just feels like he is going to have LSU prepared for anything that's thrown at him. And I think that, you know, I mean, outside of Bryce Young, this is probably going to be the best quarterback that LSU faces all year.
Yeah.
I mean,
I was going to say KJ Jefferson, but no.
I mean, maybe. You know, I mean, maybe so, but I mean,
he's not better than Hendon Hooker.
I don't think so either. You know, I mean, I think that I love Hooker. You know what I mean? I love Hendon Hooker. You know what I mean? I think that he is fantastic. I mean, to me, he's a first-round pick. To me, he is a pro quarterback. I mean, he's got just about everything that you're looking for. He's got the size. He's got the accuracy. His decision-making, to me, has been his most impressive attribute this season if you've watched him play. I mean, no interceptions it's a different 0 interceptions than Jaden Daniels' stat line, right? I mean, we mentioned it this week. Hendon Hooker is averaging nearly 10 yards per attempt in throwing the ball. So, I mean, it's not as if he's just, pitching it around the line of scrimmage. He's trying to make plays down the field, and he's accurate, and he's making the right decision, and he's not turning it over. And, like we said yesterday, the scariest thing about Hooker to me is that he is the true definition of a dual threat quarterback, in my opinion. Somebody that wants to beat you from the pocket. He trusts his arm and his ability to throw the ball first. But if it breaks down and you screw up on your pass rush and run past him and give him a running lane, then he's going to take it. Over 100 yards rushing against Pittsburgh. It's probably not what he wants to do, but if you take away his options through the air, he can beat you on the ground. So, a lot like what we talked about early on in the season and against Mississippi State, who played in space, I think the same thing tomorrow for Tennessee. You got to tackle well. I mean, if you get your hands on him, which is a tough task because he's a big dude, you got to bring him to the ground. I mean, a lot of guys are going to have to make one-on-one tackles tomorrow on him because if he gets loose, he's a problem with his legs. I mentioned this, and again, I'm not comparing their game in any way, but it reminds me of Burrow in 2019, right? Where if Burrow, he wanted to hang 400 on your head. He wanted to chop you up. But if you took that away from him, then he had no problem beating you on the ground. Think Alabama second half. Think Auburn 2019. Clemson in the national championship. I mean, it's a lot like what I feel when I watch Hendon Hooker play. He wants to throw it. He wants to go for 350 plus every Saturday. But if he's got to, he's going to take what the defense gives him, and he'll beat you on the ground. So this will be LSU defense's stiffest test tomorrow. And you got to be full go, man. And I know that there's going to be some guys missing action. They mentioned earlier this week that Seven Banks is obviously going to be out. This would be a game that you'd love to have as many cover guys as possible to try and take those options away from Hendon Hooker. But obviously you will not have Seven Banks tomorrow. You will not have Major Burns. But I think, outside of that, you should see LSU's defense ready to play. I mean, I trust what Matt House is going to game plan. And then on the offensive side, I know I mentioned this, and it's a lot what we said, earlier this week, but as the game gets closer, my read on it, and it's really listening to what Brian Kelly has said. I mean, he said it again last night. He said it with a little bit of sarcasm, but it was the same message. He knows they've got to make plays in the pass game. He knows that they got to make plays down the field. He knows that he needs his quarterback to make those decisions to get rid of the ball. And they've got to be able to score to keep up with Tennessee on Saturday. And I think Jaden Daniels has a great opportunity here to just secure this quarterback spot for good. Like, end all this stuff on Saturday, because you've got one of the worst pass defenses in Tiger Stadium coming in. This is as right of a get-right game that can be offered. I mean, if you're Joe Sloan, if you're Mike Denbrock, if you're Brian Kelly, if you're Frank Wilson, Cortez Hankton, a part of that offensive staff, you're looking at your quarterback and saying, hey, man, there is no better opponent for you coming in than what's coming in tomorrow. It's time to get your mind right. It's time to take chances. Anthony Richardson is a great example to look at on what the day could be like for Jaden Daniels. Mm-hmm. Look what Jaden Daniels did against Florida State. Pretty good. 200 yards, over 200 yards passing. Not a bad day. Mississippi State, pretty good day. He had a clunker against Auburn, 80 yards in the air. This is Jaden Daniels' stats. If you look at Anthony Richardson's stats, very similar. Utah game, threw for just under 200 yards. Kentucky game, threw for like 160. Look, not over glaringly good numbers. I mean, somebody that you look at and say, okay, he's not proficient in or prolific in throwing the ball, but he's not bad. He goes to Tennessee and throws for 400 yards on their pass defense. I mean, he's not a gifted passer. He's not somebody that you would look at and say, wow, he can sling it. He's accurate. He makes the right choice. On time, on target. He's not that guy, but he goes to Tennessee and throws for 400 yards. I'm not saying that Daniels has to go for 400 tomorrow, but it would be really cool to see a 300-yard day next to his name, because I'd imagine that would do a ton for his confidence, and that would start to open up some of the things that we're talking about for him. Pushing the ball down the field, getting the ball to the receivers, making them, make plays down the field. And it feels, in listening to Brian Kelly speak, that the leash is going to be short on Jaden Daniels tomorrow, or at least shorter than what we have seen in weeks past. Because if you come out and you sniff that it's not working today, and he's holding on to it, and he's going to protect it, and nobody's going to have opportunities down the field, before it gets 17-0, before it gets 24-0, and Tennessee starts to pull away with it, you got to give yourself a chance. And if Jaden Daniels doesn't see the opportunity that he has tomorrow in stepping in against a bad pass defense and putting up numbers and taking shots, then you might have to go to somebody who will, just to give your chance, a team a chance to win. And I'm also not saying that this would be a quarterback controversy when you wake up Sunday morning. I just think that gives you the best formula to win the game. James Sells says, Jordy, please touch on almost 2-week preparation Tennessee has had. LSU had 4-day max prep for who knows what they'll run on offense. I want LSU to win, but, man, it's hard to overcome.
Tennessee had a game last week.
No, they were off.
They had a game.
Who did they play?
They played, it wasn't a big game, but they played maybe I'm looking at the wrong thing, but it looked like they had a game last week.
No, they were off. They had a bye.
Off. Ah.
They had a bye week.
Oh, they did. My bad. That's my bad.
Look, man, bye week's an advantage. Gives you an opportunity to get healthy. I wonder if Tennessee, though, would have rather just kept playing.
Yeah.
Because they were playing with some momentum. And usually, if you're a coach, if you're a player, when you're winning games like Tennessee has here early in the year, the Pittsburgh win was a really good road win. The Florida game was a really good win. When you're winning games like that, you hate to stop. You hate to stop playing and take a break. You just want to kind of keep it rolling. So I wonder if there's a little bit of that type of mental fatigue that could be setting in for Tennessee here of, playing a little mind game on themselves of, I don't know if we needed a week off just yet.
Want to keep going.
Yeah, just keep this thing rolling and maybe, wish you had that bye week later in the season to get healthy after everybody's banged up from October. But, look, it worked out how it is. I'm sure that there is positives to it, like getting guys right and getting guys healthy. But from LSU's standpoint, I whether it's 4 days or 2 weeks, they would have been working on the same thing that they have to get right for tomorrow. And that's being able to throw the ball down the field, right? That's just that's their overriding flaw right now that in a game versus Tennessee could keep you totally out of it.
I just want to see Jaden Daniels less gun shy. Like, he's been, gun shy. You can see it. He sees the receivers running open sometimes, down the field, and he just doesn't pull the trigger. So I just like to see him not be less gun shy this week, because Tennessee isn't very good in the defensive backfield.
No, they're not good, Stewie. They're terrible.
Yeah, it's And they only have one sack against Florida. And I don't think Florida's offensive line is nearly as good as LSU's. And LSU's offensive line isn't great, but it's better than Florida's probably. So he won't see that much pressure.
Pittsburgh's defense is no good. You know, I mean, that game went to overtime.
Yeah.
I mean, one thing that I feel very secure on is that Matt House is going to have a plan devised for Hendon Hooker. I mean, he's going to have something that either this guy hadn't seen before or that they're just running it at a different level. Because, you know, I think Florida's good from a talent standpoint, especially on their starting units. They're very high-end talent. They don't have a lot of depth. But I believe that LSU, from a personnel standpoint, is without question the best that Tennessee has played.
I think on paper, LSU might be the better team. Like, if you just look at paper, dudes versus dudes, I think LSU is a better team.
Yeah.
But, you know, you got to go out and execute, so.
Jerry Rivers asked, Jordy, who are you picking to win? I would take Tennessee minus the 2 if I played the game. I'm not going to play it. I'm going to stay away from it. But if I was looking at this game, I think that experience and I think that talent really matter when it comes to this part of the schedule and the season and games like this. And I just believe that Tennessee is in a position. You know, I would just take Tennessee minus the 2. I think that Hendon Hooker is a really good player, and I think that Josh Heupel's offense is going to be something different than Matt House has seen. And I think it's a fourth quarter, one-score game. If I was playing the game, I would take Tennessee minus the 2, but I'm not going to play it because I think that it's going to be a really close, emotional, all the way down to the end type game. And I think LSU will have a chance to win. I just believe that the type of experience and the type of player that Hendon Hooker is at that position of how much it means, I think that that's the slight edge that I would give Tennessee. I think that this is otherwise a very evenly matched up game. I think that the offensive line of Tennessee and the defensive line of LSU is a very intriguing matchup from the sense of Tennessee's offensive line has played pretty good up to this point, but again, they haven't seen the talent that LSU is going to line up across from them. So Marcus Stewart, yay, Jordy just picked Tennessee. Yeah, you're right. You know what I mean? Who did I have? I picked somebody else a couple weeks ago. I picked Mississippi State.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll fade you.
Yeah, right. Fade me all day, bro. All right, give me 1 second here. I got to turn the oven off in there. Our friends over at Iverstein's had some burritos, some breakfast burritos delivered yesterday. So good, bro. We go cut this oven off. We'll be right back here at the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. Hey fellas, it's Jordy Culotta for my friends over at Men's Total Health. Guys, do you suffer from fatigue, decreased libido, erectile dysfunction, weight gain or loss of muscle mass, signs of depression, anxiety, hair loss, mental fog, general loss of interest? Then you might be suffering from low testosterone. Go see my friend Mike Roach and his great team over at Men's Total Health, over in Metairie at menstotalhealth.net online. Stop in and see how they can change your life today. A simple shot and some knowledge from Mike Roach can get you back up, moving with your energy, get your sex drive back, build your muscle mass, make you feel young again. All online, menstotalhealth.net. Donaldsonville Glass and Body, trusted name in frame, body, and automotive paint repair since 1977. They have served their customers for over 45 years. You can find them online at dgbauto.com or stop in and see them Railroad Avenue and Division Street out in Donaldsonville, Louisiana. Look, they can help you with your insurance claims. They can make the repair process as stress-free as possible. I'm speaking from experience here. I've got numerous windshields, body repair, all done by Kenny and the crew over at Donaldsonville Glass and Body. They are, without question, the most well-equipped shop in the area. Stop in and see them today. Shop them online, dgbauto.com, or stop in and see the crew over in Division Street in Donaldsonville, Louisiana. Donaldsonville Glass and Body. Red Stick Sports, a local staple in Baton Rouge to all sports fans, was founded back in 1981 and has remained a family business for over 40 years. Today, they still have the great selection on the floor, but they're also a leader in custom apparel for businesses, sports teams, and other groups. Take it from us, everybody over here at FM Digital Media. They help us out with all of our apparel. Let them help you out today. Go ask for Cody over at Red Stick Sports. Check them out online at redsticksports.biz. We love the crew over at Fresh Chef Kitchen. Chef Shane and his crew dropping off the meals every Monday here to FM Digital Media, whether it's breakfast, lunch, dinner. Me or the crew's going through our meals over at Fresh Chef Kitchen. Their weekly pre-order, freshly made meals, or you can walk into the cooler over there on Airline Highway. They have that fresh, same service over there at Fresh Chef Eats. FreshChefEats.com is where you can find them online. Fresh Chef Kitchen. Tell them you heard it right here on the Jordy Culotta Show. I was embarrassed about my smile. Are you unhappy at yours? Do you not smile back at yourself? I called my friend, Dr. Spillers, over at Johnson Spillers. He fixed my smile, and now everywhere I go, people are complimenting it after the work that Dr. Spillers and the staff did to my mouth. They can do it to yours. Get in touch with them. JohnsonSpillers.com. 2 locations, one in Gonzales, one in Baton Rouge. Easy to find them, JohnsonSpillers.com.
Don't let the name fool you. Men's Total Health has offerings for the ladies, too. Guys, is your wife or partner suffering from urinary incontinence, low sexual desire, or pain during sex? Then the O-Shot might be for her. Don't let it scare you. It's totally natural. It's PRP. And Mike Roach and the crew at Men's Total Health will make you as comfortable as you can be. Contact me for more information, Katie at JordyCulottaShow.com, and I'm happy to tell you everything that Men's Total Health has to offer for the ladies.
Do you suffer from chronic dehydration? Are you looking to improve your athletic performance and you need to get over and see our friends over at GoFlow IV? They're located on Jefferson Highway. Easy to find them online at GEAUXFlowIV.com. Make sure and use the promo code Jordy Culotta Show. If you do, they'll take 15% off of your initial visit. Check them out online, GEAUXFlowIV.com.
Looking to book a dumpster but no idea how? We've made it quick and easy for you. Check out our website at moralesrolloffs.com. Let Morales Roll-Offs know your desired delivery date, and finally, provide your contact details. To make payment, look out for an email invoice with all your booking details. On delivery day, our driver will notify you through text and email that your dumpster is ready and on the way. Now you know how easy and convenient it is. Call Morales Roll-Offs at 225-427-0000 for your dumpster.
Hey Baton Rouge, when traveling through Natchez, Mississippi, whether you need to fill up your vehicle or your belly, stop by Go-Mart and On The Go Deli. Go-Mart has clean restrooms, community coffee, an awesome beer cave, and a great selection of anything you might need on your trip. So stop by Go-Mart at 4 Sergeant Prentice Drive as you're entering Natchez on the left, and visit Tom and Wright Granning and their awesome team at Go-Mart.
All right, shout out to our friends over at Iverstein's. No Josh this morning. They dropped off some food. We're smashing these breakfast burritos over here. Almost burnt down the place and left the oven on.
No, it's crispy, dude. It was perfect.
Yeah, it's perfect.
I had the Boudin one yesterday.
They're all good, bro. They're all good. If you're looking for great tailgate ideas, stop in at Iverstein's. They're on Perkins Crossing Shopping Center over there near Essen Lane and Perkins Road. Stop in and see them. They're right there in the corner spot of the shopping center where you can find great selections for lunch. They got hot plates available for you and the great selections of meat over there at Iverstein's. Check them out if you want to get on the Butcher Bundle. Just jump on iversteinsfarms.com, iversteinsfarms.com. Click on the top right of that website, and it'll take you to the Butcher Bundles link over there at Iverstein's. So welcome back here to the Jordy Culotta Show. Make sure to hit that like button, share button, comment button as we are here with you on this Friday, getting set for tomorrow as LSU and Tennessee going to take an 11 a.m. kickoff.
You picked against the Tigers again, huh?
I did.
Going back to the well?
I did.
You taking Georgia?
I did.
Absolutely. Your boilerplate picks?
Going Georgia, Buffalo, Tennessee.
And whoever LSU's playing.
That's right. That's right. No, I mean, like, I think that it's important to be good at the right spots in college football. And if you're good at the right spots, you can cover some things up. And I think that Tennessee is a pretty solid team, and they're right at the right spot. I think they got a really good quarterback. I think they got a guy that he can single-handedly make a decision, make a play that can get you out of trouble, and, in fact, put points on the board. And when you got that guy, you got an advantage. And I think that that's the slight advantage that I'm giving Tennessee is just the quarterback position. Not to say that LSU's is terrible and Hooker is great. It's not that. It's just that Hooker he does more things at a higher level than I think the other quarterback does, whoever it may be. And that would be my slight advantage. I think that's why it's a 2-point spread. I mean, the game for all intents and purposes, it's right around, it's hovering around 1-2 points of a spread. I mean, the odds makers find this game to be very evenly matched up. I agree. I think that this thing is going to go to the fourth quarter, 1-score game, ability for both teams to have opportunities to win. But if I'm looking at the game and I'm trying to stay objective, look, I know this is an LSU show, and I support LSU, love having the guys in here, love talking to the coaches, love the access that we have to the program. But I also have to keep it real. You know what I mean? I have to be honest with you. I'm not going to sit here and paint everything with purple and gold glasses. And I'm also not telling you that LSU is going to get blown out. If LSU wins the game, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, it's not like I would be shocked if LSU won the game, but if you're asking me to make a play and pick a side, I'd give the slight advantage to Tennessee because of their quarterback. And I think that Matt House is going to have a great plan devised to try and stop him. But I just think he's the difference maker. You know, I mean, to me, and I'd imagine to a lot of you out there who watch football at every level, the team with the better quarterback usually wins. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what the hell's going on with Russell Wilson.
Oh,
I mean, like, I don't know why he has regressed. I mean,
time portal.
Matt Ryan last night.
I mean, you didn't think that. I mean, you'd expect that from Matt Ryan, where it looks like he's a human ragdoll, where it's like you almost fear for his safety because he's so old out there with all of these athletes running around. Russell still has a little, like, giddy up to him, you would think, but it seems like he's lost it. He has no interest in really doing the plays that made Russell Wilson special. Like, he's checking it down as soon as he gets in his hands. He won't throw the slant because of the Super Bowl. He's still in press conferences with "Let's ride." Like, I don't know what you do if you're a Broncos fan, if you're a Broncos owner that just invested how much money in him? $250 million guaranteed, and this is what you're getting? And you thought you were a quarterback away, and you said you're in a 9-6 dogfight. You go to overtime.
No touchdown scored last night.
It was, my buddy called me.
Kick fest.
My buddy called me. He took the under, and he called me. He goes, "I can't believe I didn't take no touchdowns." I was like, take what you get.
No touchdowns?
No touchdowns was a prop on Caesars.
Just all field goals. They're just going
It's
back
like
and
an
forth.
elementary school.
And the Broncos got in red zone like twice, and Russell Wilson threw a pick, and then the second time it was to win it, and he just completely missed a wide open receiver and tried to throw it to another guy, got broken up, game over.
And that's when Russell is like usually what you consider him like kind of clutch.
Yeah.
He's been
awful.
Awful in
I mean,
clutch
at
times.
one point he was
Mr. Clutch.
He was the guy. I mean, like, he was the guy that would kill you. That was why he was allowed to be as big of a douchebag as he is. I mean, really.
Yeah,
I mean,
he
to be
won
honest,
football games.
I mean, because he would go out there and you're like, well, I mean, dude, you got to have him. I mean, did you see Richard Sherman
he
last
said
night?
they
Like, he was
treated him like a
melting. Like, he was melting. Like, the fact that Russell Wilson did not make plays to win the game and the opportunities that he had and everything, it felt like that Sherman had like dealt with.
He's been holding
with
it
the
in.
Legion of Boom.
He's been
Like,
holding
I
it
mean, he was melting on the set. I mean, like he was visibly uneasy. You know, like
It felt like that's what he was like in the locker room. Like he went back to that place of who he is. Like he went back to like game mode a little bit on the set because he starts like jumping the desk because they got it. They did the same thing they did in the Super Bowl. They got it inside the goal line, like they got it in the red zone inside the 5, and they throw it 3 times and then kick. And he's like, run the damn ball. Like every time. I've seen this movie before.
Could have tested it one time.
Yeah, but they don't have. I mean, if you're the old Seahawks, I get it. You had Marshawn Lynch back there. I mean, they're handing off Melvin. He fumbles it. He fumbles every game. But I can understand Sherm going back to that place and being in that Super Bowl locker room where like, just run the ball. And then you could tell he brought it all the way back to being in the foxhole again.
I mean, it's another reason too why you look at Tom Brady and you're just like, geez, man, this guy is so freakishly good because football is the sport where overnight you can become bad. Like you can become, the example that I would use would be Brett Favre in Minnesota. I mean, Brett Favre in Minnesota in 2009 was the MVP of the league. In 2010, he was tripping over himself. I mean, I remember watching him play, and he was like tripping and falling down when he was coming out of center, like trying to like Brett, bud, it's over. Like, you're not coming downhill. Like you're way past the finish line. Turn your equipment in, bro.
These dudes are gonna kill you, Brett.
I mean,
I don't know what y'all are talking about. I got copper fit head to toe. I'm good. If I can get to the back of my drop, I still got this cannon on me.
Copper fit would do nothing for him. He would leak through the copper. He needs actual copper, like tying him together if he was to go out there and trying to play. It might be steel bars that are keeping him up now.
If I needed one completion, though, Brett could get it done for me.
Dude, I don't know. If you watch that Minnesota year, I don't even know if he could get the snap.
What is this, the longest yard?
You have to pick between Brett Favre, Peyton Manning, or Drew Brees.
To complete a pass in the NFL right now?
Right now.
Oh, my God.
Oh, shit. Peyton's done.
Yeah, that's the other
he can't even grip the ball.
Yeah, I mean, he knows it. He knows what he's calling, but I don't know if he can
Brett got that grip.
I mean, after watching Brees put 8-yard passes for the last 4 years, I don't even know if he could get it to the line of scrimmage.
Did you see what he said about Tom Brady?
No.
And like how Drew wanted to play until he was 45, but then he was like, well, when you have 20, rickets in your shoulder holding you together, it was a little hard for me to throw it downfield. He's like, I could dice you up inside 40 yards all day, but once it came to like everything that everybody noticed about him, it's like once it came to like the deep shots, I just couldn't do it anymore. But he's like, it's very apparent he still wishes he was playing.
Lost it.
It's over, Drew.
So it's Brett Favre. That's who I would pick out of those three.
Yeah, I guess
I guess it would be Favre.
I guess Brett's the only one that can make
Iron
that
Man.
throw.
I've seen him and Jerry Rice playing flag football against the rec league on
the commercial.
I mean, like, fellas, they don't have any representation. It's like, we're not doing this.
On a farm in Mississippi.
We'll coach the game.
Yeah, but like,
you know what I mean? They're not going to suit up and play flag football. I mean, that possibly is the best wide receiver in the history of football right there. And Brett Favre is the dumbest criminal that's ever played football.
Hey, Jerry, you're not getting paid for today's work, right? Like, what? You flew me out to Mississippi, put me head to toe copper fit? Yeah, that's good. I'll wire you your check.
I mean, like, who was the first pick here? Who would you take first, Jerry Rice or Brett Favre in a flag football game?
Oh, Jerry Rice.
I'm taking Jerry. He's a little more in shape now. Still in shape.
Oh, he's still in shape.
I think Brett's still in shape. But
a little more boost.
Jerry Rice.
Yeah.
Jerry Rice last year in the NFL was incredible. When he played for
Seattle?
No, not that year.
Denver?
No, that was Oakland. Whenever he came, he came back, I think he was 40. He still went over 1,000 yards and like 10 touchdowns.
Yeah, remember the Oakland Tampa Bay Super Bowl where Tampa Bay won with all that defense with Derek Brooks and Booger McFarland and Warren Sapp and Rondé Barber and all those guys. Jerry Rice, I think, was the only touchdown that Oakland scored in the game. I mean, he was pretty good for Oakland for a couple of years.
2003 is his last full season. He had 869 yards, and 2002 is the year we're talking about. He comes back. He's 30. Okay, he comes back and
he looks so weird at Denver.
Yeah, when he turns 40 in 2002, he goes for 1,200 yards and 7 touchdowns.
Damn.
The next year after that, which is he played until 2004, but his last year in Oakland, 63 catches, 870 yards. And he's 41 years old, playing wide receiver in the NFL. So that's my first pick for retired flag football between those two. I think Jerry could still do you up a little bit.
Speaking of retired wide receivers that want some of that smoke, Ocho Cinco's in town. Chad Johnson's in Baton Rouge. I think his daughter's on a track visit.
Yeah.
And
he wants that track smoke.
And he's calling out. He wants to race people in Baton Rouge. Chad Johnson yesterday on October 6th at 5:30 in the afternoon tweeted out, "Any track athletes on LSU campus that want to race tomorrow, please see me. 100, 200, 400, 5K for anybody who can beat me. I don't care what your resume looks like. I'm Ocho." First tweet and reply, Matt Moscona. "I'll race you if you come on the radio with me."
Oh,
after.
my God.
Hashtag.
Wait.
Hashtag.
Matt, I don't
bet.
think it's worth it.
I was just trying to get him on the show.
I mean, I don't think you want your running form next to Moscona. I mean, next to Ocho. Like, if they start on the same line,
it might
be a Panamsky situation.
I was about to say it might turn into a Panamsky.
Where this is not like
to pull the hammy, break the collarbone in one stride,
and you got
one motion.
In one motion.
And you got Ocho looking back and pointing at
like,
you.
What? Who are you?
And you know he's gonna record it too.
Oh, for sure. This is going on all the socials. I mean, if I tried to line up and run, I'm tearing my groin first thing out the chute.
Shredding it. Shredding it.
Well, I wouldn't go.
And
I'd probably pull something. But.
There's no business for any of us to get up there and try to run. We're not going to win, and there's a 95% chance of I'm not finishing this race.
Yeah.
Just
now I'm out.
I'm good, man. I'm good. I just wanted to meet you.
Yeah.
Man, if I didn't get hurt.
Yeah, right. No doubt. All right, so the Saints are taking on Seattle on Sunday. Saints trying to get off the schneid here as they are favored by 6.5 points. I don't know what's going on here. Saints in Seattle on Sunday, but another. We talked about the get-right opportunity for Jaden Daniels in the LSU offense tomorrow versus the pass defense of Tennessee. This is a good opportunity for the Saints at home to play against Seattle's not. They're not terrible. They're a surprising 2-2, really, when you look at their overall record, when you see and realize you got Geno Smith, QB1 for the Seahawks. But it'll be interesting to see what the Saints do, come Sunday with what's happening at their quarterback spot with the injuries. Alvin Kamara, obviously. Who's going to go? Will it be Jameis Winston? Will it be Andy Dalton? So some of the storylines that we're following with the New Orleans Saints going into Sunday will be interesting to watch as well.
I mean, you have to look at the other side of the ball, right? Geno Smith is having a career year. I thought that his time in the league was almost over. He was an afterthought. He's the reason I took the under in the Seattle in the futures for Seattle team total wins. I think it was at 6.5, and I was like, they don't have a quarterback. And Geno Smith has come in and started to cook. It must be the Seahawks offense that Russell Wilson's missing.
This is Russell.
Or is it Pete Carroll is saying, you know what? You wanted to cook the whole time you were here. I didn't let you. I'm going to let Geno show you what he can do.
I think it is a little bit.
It's like a spite play.
I think it is a little bit of a spite play. I mean, they hate Russell Wilson.
They hate him.
I mean, they cannot stand him in Seattle. And that's a place where, I mean, football was almost like forgotten before them and, you know, the defense and Russell Wilson showed up. And I understand that the face of those Super Bowl runs was the defense, the Legion of Boom, and it should have been. But to have the quarterback on that team so hated now.
They hated him. Like,
I mean,
you could see it in Richard Sherman's face.
No doubt.
Like,
Sherman could not wait to tell you just how frustrated. He didn't want to hide it. You know, I mean, usually guys on that platform, a lot of guys within the sport hate each other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of guys that don't get along. They got problems. They got issues. Girls. I mean, like money. It's all. It's the same thing that everybody else deals with. You know what I mean? But they go on public platforms, and it's kind of like understood, like we all got each other's back. You know, we're all in the football fraternity here. We're not going to publicly crush you. Sherman was not trying to hide it last night. It was almost like he wanted to say more. Or it was like he wanted to, like, cuss. You know what I mean? It was, if it would have been like on a YouTube, I mean, it felt like he would have gone in on this guy.
I think on his podcast he said something about, like, Russell Wilson getting special treatment, like, whenever they were in Seattle. And, like, they treated him better than everybody else, which is why the defense really hated him.
Yeah, and they thought that Russell Wilson and Pete Carroll were kind of like – it was kind of like if you watch Showtime, the Lakers Showtime, it was kind of like Jerry Buss and Magic Johnson. It was like when, you know, Magic Johnson's this young kid and Jerry Buss is, like, driving around the city with him, and, like, all these veterans on the team are, like, looking at Magic and being like –
we don't like
you. Yeah,
you.
you're a kiss ass, man. You know what I mean? Like – you just Jerry Buss's little whipping boy. You know, I think that's how they looked at Russell Wilson in the locker. I mean, you got to think about some of those personalities in that locker room, bro. I mean, like
alphas.
You got Cam Chancellor in there. You got Bobby Wagner
alpha
in there. You got Michael Bennett
alpha
in there. You got Richard Sherman in there.
Brandon Browner.
What was Earl
Thomas?
Earl Thomas.
We know, certified gangster.
I mean, it was.
Yeah, I don't think you invited this threesome, Russ.
I mean, that is Russell Wilson showing up to the lunch table, being like, "All right, guys, I get it. Not my crowd.
What's up, fellas?"
Yeah, private school goes to public school for one day, and he's like, "Oh, you don't sit here, bro.
Yeah,
like,
no,
you aren't
man.
from around here.
You're with the principal, actually. You're with Pete Carroll and that crew over there.
Why don't y'all go break down some film?
I mean, they're hanging Russell Wilson by his underwear off the door.
No doubt.
You got lunch money?
Yeah. Giving him swirlies.
Oh, finally, yeah.
Putting his head in the toilet.
His mom makes him lunch. They just take everything off his plate. Like, thank you.
Bro, the defense was so good.
Russ, your mom made that peanut butter and jelly last week. I like it. Bring it
She
back.
made one when I left, too.
Can you send that back?
That defense was nasty.
Yes, it was.
But did you see Russell and Sherm meet before the game? Where they knew the camera was on, they both started hamming it up and pretending like they were best friends.
That's what I'm saying.
And then on the set, you can see Sherm just like...
Even like in public, they want to show you like, we're all good.
Yeah.
It's all good.
But then Sherm's like, I hate this guy.
Yeah, and then they watch him play and they're like, dude, this guy's
yeah, don't bring me back to that time.
a douche. All right, we'll be back with the second hour of the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet.
Chad.
We're all from different places and backgrounds. We've each experienced our own versions of life, but in the end, we're all on the same team. I'm part of that team, along with these players in purple and gold.
Kayshawn Buddha, Malik Neighbors, Miles Frazier,
Kyron Lacy,
Greg Brooks.
Whether on the field or in the courtroom, your team matters.
So join our team.
Make a difference.
Bet. Let's get it done.
Best athlete to come out of New Iberia, Mark Roman.
On Buddha.
Kayshawn? Wow.
Right now, Kayshawn, and Mark was a little bit before me. I was a ball boy when Mark was playing at New Iberia Senior High School. I played like right after Mark, but has done some things, and just the things that you guys are seeing Kayshawn do, that he's not even scratching the surface of what we saw on a day-to-day basis at practice. And he's unreal. He's unreal.
He's so natural. It's so so easy. It looks so easy to him.
Yes, it's so easy, and there's never been another a competitor I've ever seen like Kayshawn. Kayshawn would not lose going to eat pregame meal. He has to be the first. He is the ultimate competitor. He would not lose. So trust me, he will be ready.
Man, so kind of when I entered the transfer portal, I knew, what type of facility, what type of, program I wanted to go to. Being that before I committed to Ohio State, my first unofficial was to LSU.
Oh, wow.
And but that was when Coach O and Coach Raymond was here or whatever. But definitely the coaches, the scheme Kelly, trying to bring in, trying to implement, his way of going, like detailed person. That's where I wanted to be. I know where I want to be.
Did you have any experience with Coach Kelly?
No, I had no experience. No.
Really? Who was your main recruiter from LSU?
Sherman Wilson. Yeah, he was. Stay consistent. Honest. Just gave it to me straight.
Yeah.
And this is where I wanted to be.
How do you feel about that number at this university playing that position?
Yeah, man, I definitely want it. I definitely. You want to come in and prove, to my teammates, not just the coaches, but to my teammates that I got to go play with, that, I deserve it. And once I do that, then, everything is, up from there.
Yeah.
We're all from different places and backgrounds.
Southern Eye Center is located at 6859 Jefferson Highway right here in Baton Rouge, has been serving your eyes for over 40 years in the capital region. They offer friendly service in a helpful environment with the highest level of personal care to manage your eye health and vision needs. If you want more information, log online to southerneyecenters.com. That is southerneyecenters.com. Stop in and check out their beautiful office located on Jefferson Highway right here in the capital city. And remember, each time you walk in there and you mention the Jordy Culotta Show, Dr. Ann Shaw and Southern Eye Centers will take 25% off of their fantastic selection of sunglasses. All you got to do is mention the Jordy Culotta Show. Check them out. southerneyecenters.com and located at 6859 Jefferson Highway.
Looking to book a dumpster but no idea how? We've made it quick and easy for you. Check out our website at moralesrolloffs.com. Let Morales Roll-Offs know your desired delivery date, and finally, provide your contact details. To make payment, look out for an email invoice with all your booking details. On delivery day, our driver will notify you through text and email that your dumpster is ready and on the way. Now you know how easy and convenient it is. Call Morales Roll-Offs at 225-427-0000 for your dumpster.
All right, welcome back here to the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet, as we always are. Make sure and hit that like button, share button, comment button. Shout out to the St. Aloysius Men's Club. Was over there last night talking to the room before we headed over to Woodlawn and Zachary. Great room, good dudes, talking LSU football, getting set for the big game weekend, but appreciate Carter Fourier, Derek Fife, William Biasat, and the crew for having us out last night. It was a cool room to get in front of, talk to a lot of old friends, a lot of familiar faces, and looking forward to the showdown between Our Lady of Mercy and St. Aloysius Wednesday night under the lights. Olympia Stadium. They moved the game.
Where's it usually?
They were going to play it at St. Aloysius.
We had to get a bigger venue,
but they moved it to Olympia.
Had to get a bigger venue.
Number 7's in town.
Yeah. Guard 7, coach.
Yeah. Can't guard 7.
Talking a lot about number 7 over at St. Aloysius.
We talk a lot about it
We're going to have double 7 this week.
We heard the chirps last night.
Talk about him at Our Lady of Mercy, too. Talk the town.
But it was cool to be over there. Thank you to St. Aloysius for having us out to the men's club event last night, as it was cool to be over there on their campus. All right, so this LSU Tennessee game, man, we've talked about it from every angle, right? I told you I like Tennessee slightly in this game. Give the slight edge to Tennessee, and I do it because of their quarterback. I do it because of Hendon Hooker. It's to me, it is the most important position, obviously, in the game. And when you are better at that spot, and not in particularly 1 versus 1, like last night was Eli Holstein versus Ricky Collins was how the game was billed, right? I mean, Eli Holstein was playing for the first time in a couple of weeks coming off of an injury. Ricky Collins has been running for his life all season, continued to do that last night. You could see both of them really high-level quarterbacks, especially at the high school level, good enough to play at an SEC caliber type program where they're headed. But Eli Holstein clearly had the better team, right? He clearly had the better team around him. Holstein and Collins, I think, what's your pick who you want. You take him, I'll take him. Let's see. I mean, both of them can play at a very, very high level. Zachary's team, as far as the depth, the skill, the ability to block, tackle, do all that stuff, they do it better. It's not a slight on Holstein, and it's not a knock on Collins. It's just how it is. In a game like LSU Tennessee tomorrow, where you look at it on paper and you think out loud like, man, the game's pretty evenly matched. So much so that the odds makers in Vegas think the same thing. Are they right every single time? No, but a lot of the time they are. And they're saying that Tennessee's favored by 2. I think those 2 points are because of Hendon Hooker, or because you look at this game on paper and automatically you want to give LSU -3 because they're at home, right? That's usually how it plays out. If it's a pick'em game, usually the home team is going to give 3 points because they sleep in their own beds. They don't have to travel. They eat the pregame meal in their own spot, and they walk out of their locker room onto their field. That's usually how that stuff works. So really with Tennessee giving 2 points, it's right around 3-4 is what they, how they really feel about it from just a pure number standpoint. Thing will kick off probably at Tennessee -2. It's a pretty evenly matched game when you look at it on paper. And I just think that the difference is the decision maker in the game, right? I mean, the quarterback ultimately, this isn't some like football 101 lesson. This is just my thoughts on it. Like the football, obviously the quarterback touching the football every single play is a huge responsibility. And if the guy that's touching it every play is making the best decisions on where it has to go and not giving it to the other team, which is the way that Hendon Hooker plays, that team is going to have the slight edge, in my opinion. And that's why I would choose Tennessee to win this game if I was playing and gambling on it. If I was, sprinkling a couple of cookies on the game, I would play Tennessee -2. I'm staying away from it because to me it could go either way. I wouldn't be surprised if LSU wins the game by a small margin. But I think those 2 points are under center for Tennessee. And I think that this is a huge moment for Hendon Hooker. This is one that he's probably looking at, that he can elevate himself into the discussion of the best quarterback in the game right now. Really. I mean, with what's going on with Bryce Young, is he playing tomorrow? Is he not playing tomorrow? Is he going to get full healthy? It sounds like he is. How much does that health hinder him, put him back? We'll see. He, if healthy, is the best quarterback in the sport. I'd say he's having a really good year. He's DTR.
Yeah.
At UCLA.
Yeah, UCLA's having a good year.
They are.
They always start fast.
They do start fast, but if you watch, it's a different Dorian Thompson-Robinson. I mean, he's having a really
Bishop
good.
Gorman.
Did you
DTR?
Did you see the juke on the?
It kind of looked like what Jaden Daniels did on the goal line last week on the 4th down.
Yeah.
On the keeper, where he kind of stretched that thing out. Now, DTR's was a little more cold.
Yeah,
he kind of stepped back on him.
Yeah. Dude ran into it.
Yeah. It's a bad highlight.
Washington is a good team.
Yeah.
They have Utah this week. Utah catching 3, I believe.
Tail of the tape right there.
Take a little sprinkle on Utah a little bit already. I didn't know that
we know.
DTR was balling out like this.
Man's playing ball right now.
I just went with the old theory of
UCLA
usually kind of runs out of steam.
Up and then down.
I mean, yeah, you can't trust Chip Kelly. He loses interest. That's just kind of how his personality feels like. It is like, all right, I proved to y'all I could win a couple of games. Now back to my hole.
Beat LSU last year.
Y'all remember that? I think they got hot again last year at the end of the year, but let's see if the spread's moved at all.
The tail of the tape would be if they could beat USC.
Oh damn, Utah -3. Yeah.
And Oregon.
I catch some value with UCLA.
Did Mikey go to the baseball practice?
No, Jack did, and he has a new camera.
Bro, that Dylan Cruz,
oh my goodness,
man!
They said that was a little bit of a frustration bomb. He's the only one on the team that hadn't hit one. It seemed like every announcement was, after every tweet that was coming out was home run, home run, home run.
Yeah,
everybody had one, and Cruz was the only one. Then I think he
like, you know what?
Caught a cookie.
I think I'm the number 1 pick.
Yeah, you want to see how far I can hit this baseball? Watch your parked cars.
See if I can get into the stadium.
That's what 1-1 looks like.
I love to hear that he is a little bit more vocal.
Yeah.
This year. I was speaking in a sports management class 2 weeks ago. Shout out to Dr. Ashley Bowers, was over in her classroom yesterday. Also was with Cody Worsham in his class yesterday. Jamil was in there.
Professor Culotta.
Yeah, right. Talking to the crew.
I told her, let me come to class. Like, I'm trying to see Jordy.
I'm trying to go to your class and see the crow.
She backed out. She's out.
Yeah. Coach, she not bad looking out of that costume, right?
She's out. No.
Okay.
She's
okay. All right.
She's all the way out.
I'm backing out of that one.
But we were talking about Dr. Ashley Bowers in her class, and Dylan Cruz was in one of the classes that I was speaking to. And just a first chance to really kind of talk to him a little bit, and one of the things that I've always heard about Cruz was that when he showed up to LSU, it was very well known,
don't talk to him.
It's all baseball.
Yeah.
I'm not doing the meet me over here for the photo shoot at 3:00 to make sure that we've got our graphics put up for the
your posters ready.
Promo. Yeah, it's
I don't care.
I'm going to be in the cage.
Yeah, if you want a picture of me, you can find me.
But it seems like he's come to really open up and embrace kind of the. It's had to have been pretty cool experiences him for the last couple of years. Being at LSU, being the guy representing Team USA in the offseason. I think this will probably be the best team he's played on.
Yeah,
since he's been in LSU.
Sure. I mean, last year was probably eye-opening, and I think that took some of the pressure off of him, realizing, there's guys like Jacob Berry out there that, okay, I don't have to be the best player every day I show up to the ballpark because, I mean, imagine being that freshman that shows up and you're like, here, this is all of the LSU pressure is on you because we don't have. And you're gonna have to carry us your freshman and sophomore year. He does it, and then he's able to. So I think the pressure's off. Like he said, I had to earn my stripes to be a leader. I mean, the proof is in the pudding. I can kind of go out and do whatever I want my junior year, and if that's play loose and kind of play free and be a little bit more vocal with the boys and take the pictures and enjoy your last year because after this, that's it for college, coach. He ain't coming back.
Kiss the babies.
Yeah, go 1-1, but go have a hell of a year, win a natty, but. Make sure you take all of that in. Soak up all these experiences because it only happens once. So I think Cruz won't have a problem doing that.
Also, Paul Skeens is huge.
Massive.
He's taller than the.
Bro, I heard he's a killer.
He throws 97 and hit a bomb yesterday.
Oof.
I mean,
get ready.
He's the best one they got, right?
From the portal?
Yeah.
Probably so. I mean, they got some dudes. You got Tommy Tanks. That would be the one that comes in.
Pick out 9.
Who's going to play shortstop? Is it going to be Jordan Thompson?
Yeah, I think they still want Thompson there because a lot of the guys that they signed ended up either signing with Major League Baseball or returning to their team in the portal. I think.
Gavin Guidry.
Yeah, and they signed Gavin Guidry, who's the freshman. Yeah, then they have a freshman that he wants to pitch and play shortstop, but he was the other guy taking ground balls, and so is Jordan Crawford from what I heard. You'll get all of this information much more in depth from Mic'd Up at Uncle Earl's 4:30 to 6 today.
Might get out of here a little early.
Oh, I did want to. Oh, sure. Whatever. If I give you this stat line for Jaden Daniels versus Tennessee, would you take it? And do you think this leads to an LSU win? It's just the Mississippi State game. 22 of 37, 210 yards, 1 touchdown through the air, 3 sacks, no picks.
No.
So he has to throw for more than 200. Would you want to hear his rushing yards?
He has to throw
16 for 93 and
2 touchdowns.
like he had. That's him doing both. That's him accounting for 300
Can he
yards.
run 16 times on his knee?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I mean, what's the status of his knee?
I don't know where the knee is, but he has to throw more than 1 touchdown. Like,
yeah, it's not the yardage that I'm concerned about. It's the number of scores because that's the ball touching Kayshawn, Brian Thomas, Jack Besh, Jeray Jenkins, Malik Neighbors' hands. That is the recipe to win tomorrow. Jaden Daniels, I don't think can rush. I think that they have to run the ball, but they have to run the ball more to keep away from Hendon Hooker.
Yeah, and to keep Jaden from running it all. Like, I'm talking about run the ball of running backs or Kayshawn. Yeah,
me too. Yeah, I am too. I think that you have to establish the ground game, the run game, because you really want to play keep away from Hendon. I mean, you want to keep them off the field first because, obviously they're how quick they are and how they can score very quick and fast. But
you want to dictate the tempo.
Yeah, I think that you have to make plays in the air tomorrow. You have to score in the passing game tomorrow, or you have to make the plays that set up scores through the passing game tomorrow to keep up with Tennessee. I don't think that this is going to be a NASCAR shootout.
Well, you don't want to play. You don't want to play that game.
They
for
can't.
LSU, right?
They can't. I mean, you don't want to figure out if you can tomorrow against Tennessee.
But it feels like that's what they're trying to do. It feels like this narrative has gotten pushed to the point where it's a no-win situation for Jaden Daniels unless the first play of the game is an 80-yard touchdown pass down the sidelines. Like, that's where it's gotten to this point where
no, it's not that. It's not.
But what do you expect to see from him?
To me, it's these crossers that he's missing. It's these open throws in space that he's missing. It's the wide receivers catching the ball. I mean, it's a combination of things. I'm not saying that it's all Jaden Daniels' fault. Things have to happen for him to play at that level, but he's got to let the ball go. He's got to let the ball go with confidence. He's got to let the ball go on time. He's got to let the ball go to a spot that gives his playmakers the chance to make a play. I mean, should those guys have caught the ball last weekend, the ones that hit the ground? Definitely. Do they need to be hit in stride so that they can make bigger plays? Absolutely. I mean, it's a two-way street where people have to meet in the middle. But from the quarterback standpoint, he's got to play risk-reward. He's got to play more of, I've got to push the ball down the field to get the ball into the hands of people who can change the scoreboard. And 16 for 93 yards is a really impressive stat from a rushing quarterback. That's not going to last. And I don't even know if you could ask him to run it 16 times tomorrow, because the last 2 times I've seen him play, he's gotten hurt. Right? I mean, like he had his tailbone messed up against New Mexico, and he took a knee that got him out of the game last week. And even if you want to push it back 3 weeks ago against Mississippi State,
takes a late shot in the end zone.
He was wincing, getting up a couple of times in that. So I mean, those hits are adding up, and here we are. You're welcome to October.
And this is what you said was going to happen. You said this is like, I don't want to say unsustainable, but you said his style of play will have to change at some point because he won't be able to last in the SEC. And I don't know what his knee's going to look like. I don't know has there been any practice reports of that? If this was a way for Brian Kelly to kind of Kansas City shuffle you and make you look at the team meeting over here while we actually are like not talking about Jaden Daniels' knee and his treatment, like that's a pretty brilliant PR play to have everybody and their mother talking about something other than Jaden Daniels being hurt, which is great. I mean, you saw Nick Saban is going to get all the way to Saturday without a Bryce Young update. Like, he's still day-to-day. Nobody knows if he's going to play. That doesn't happen anymore.
So quit asking.
Right. Like, Nick Saban's the only one that really has a chokehold on the media to where, I mean, you have a returning Heisman winner playing on national television. You don't know if he's going to play or not. Nobody's asking because Nick Saban's just not going to tell you. And he just has that cachet.
Did you hear his answer earlier this week about it?
You're like,
so funny, dude.
He suddenly went off on the media.
To me, those are planted questions.
Yeah. And,
like
he hates that.
Well, no. Like
he wants to say that. Yeah.
He has somebody in there, like, say, hey, look, you're my example today. Mm-hmm. You asked a question. It's all good. You got access. But I'm gonna light up the answer. right?
You're going to light the room up.
Right? Like, I'm going to go viral.
You'll make everybody scared.
You know what I mean?
Lob this grenade.
This will be played in my locker room.
I want my players to see it.
Absolutely. I want Bryce Young to see it. I want Milroe to see it. You know what I mean? Like, he's specifically, he's going at those guys.
He's so specific.
But
so planned.
No doubt. But I mean, like, that to me is a planted question at a press conference. Because asking that question, what you're going to get, even if you were asking it like neutrally. You know what I mean? Like, if you just walked in there and were like, Coach, tell me what you're going to do on offense.
Whistling.
You know, like on Wednesday to Nick Saban. Like, this guy's not going to light you up.
Nick, how do you want me to ask this again?
Right. It's probably texted to him.
Yeah.
Quick question
like,
in the corner
in quotes.
This is what I'm going to ask you.
Yeah. Just hold up.
Ask it just like this.
Yeah, hold up just a quote board like SNL and just flip through the flipboard. The whole question. Like, okay. But, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Nick's ability to get through the entire week with no update, really. It's like, oh, he's day-to-day. We'll see Saturday. It's like nobody knows anything. And then that's what I was wondering if LSU was trying to do something with. I don't know how bad the knee is because it looked bad on Saturday.
Yeah.
And I don't know. And you're coming off Tennessee with a bye week, so you know they're fresh. That's where you get, like.
He couldn't even ride a bike.
No, he couldn't ride a bike.
He couldn't even ride the bike on the sideline.
Firing up the nuss bus, Coach.
Might have to.
But I
telling you.
know,
the keys are in it for sure.
He said burst a sec, so that's just like
Drain
swelled up,
yeah.
drain it, get a little stretch out every day. You know, you got to do your little stretches.
And it just came from that slide too.
Yep, slide was terrible.
It was.
I know. Speaking of good slides, you see Ricky Collins?
Yeah.
Baseball slide. Coach.
Yeah, smooth.
Everything Ricky does is
He's
smooth.
just smooth.
He's just smooth.
Calls himself
I mean,
Medina.
like, he's going to have to get away from the way that he holds the ball.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But I get why he does it out there. He's just better than a lot of people that he's going up
He played
against.
it apart.
You know what I mean? He holds it like Walter Payton. You know what I mean? Where he's just like.
He's got that little drop too.
But I mean, an SEC defensive end.
Is gonna.
Yeah.
Take it from you.
We were in a classroom yesterday, and Savion Jones walked in. Coach, that's NFL. I mean, like, that's what they look like.
Savion, you're pretty big.
I mean,
he has to fit in a normal person's desk.
Yep.
He's having a better year than Ali Gay.
Yeah. He has more sacks than Ali Gay.
Where is Ali Gay? What is going on?
He just
with
gets
11?
lost in the wash, I guess. I mean, he makes.
He's eating up space.
Yeah.
He's all bus team. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, he looks the part.
First one out the tunnel.
Oh, bro, it should be.
Yeah, he's right behind. He looks like Brian Kelly's personal protector.
For the Florida State game, somebody was like, 11 looks like a creative player.
Yeah,
like,
he does.
He was just like.
He does, man.
If you don't know when you see him, like Florida State doesn't know who Ali Gay is. They probably like that. Oh, that's LSU.
Yeah,
like
that
that's what
like
they
LSU
look like
for sure.
Yeah, I would be
all uniform
scared
teams
as
for
shit.
Sure.
First off the bus. I mean,
he really is first off the tunnel.
11, come here.
Absolutely, captain every game.
Yeah, how you doing, kid?
He just needs to put the state police flat brim hat on and walk out right behind him. Just put him in full uniform, like
he's got a great tape job.
Like
too.
Les, yeah. I mean, he looks like a warrior
on the hands. Von Bluesman says, I promise you Jaden has been doing exactly what Coach Brian Kelly has told him with the exception of missing a couple of open passes. Protect the ball and win the games. I disagree with that, Von. He's definitely been telling him to protect the ball. He's definitely been telling them that they want to win the game. But listen to what he's been saying publicly for the last couple of weeks. It's now time for the offense to start taking shots down the field. He's publicly said that. If you go to his Monday press conference, he was saying he would be okay with an interception. He's not urging turnovers, but just push it. Push the ball down the field. Take chances. See if you can't find some plays down the field. So, look, there's definitely a premium on protecting the ball. There's definitely a premium on winning the games. But the formula that they've gotten up to this point in doing that is not going to win tomorrow. And Kelly knows that. He said it every time he spoke this week, which leads me to believe that there's either a shorter leash on Jaden Daniels or they got some plan in place where they're going to start making plays down the field. It's tough to ask a player to change his stripes in 7 days.
That's what I'm saying. It just feels like an odd. I understand Tennessee's defense, and this is their weakness. It just feels like an odd time for all of this to be forced onto like Jaden Daniels when it said.
Well, I don't think it's for. See, that.
Well, the fan base is what's going to do it.
That to me is what Brian Kelly has been coaching Jaden Daniels up on behind closed doors, is to tell him, hey, look, man, it's going to be a progression for you that the coaches need to see that progress being made. And by the time LSU gets to the month of October, we should be very comfortable in throwing the ball down the field.
And right now we're not.
And they have not taken – and if you go back and watch even his reactions on the sideline, all of the TV copies have caught Brian Kelly at one point during the game reacting to Jaden Daniels holding on to the ball. All of them. I've watched all the TV copies. Against Florida State, the reaction's kind of like, let's go. Come on, baby. Let's go. Let's go. Make the play. Make the play. 2 weeks later against Mississippi State, it's kind of like, come on. Throw the ball. Like, let it go. Let it go. Against Auburn, you saw it last Saturday night. He's red-faced. He's telling him, like, throw the mother effing ball. And he's telling him again when he gets to the sideline, he's kind of staring at him like, what's going on, man? Like, we should be further along than we are right now. What's the problem? You can see Kelly's frustration and then listen to him speak. I mean, he said it Saturday night in the postgame at Auburn. He said it Monday morning when he had time to think about it, watch the film at the press conference that he has regularly. He said it Wednesday on the SEC teleconference. He said it again Thursday when he met with the press, and then said it again last night at his radio show. I mean, one thing that I have come to realize about Brian Kelly is that he don't play mind games in the media. He tells you straight up about your team. He opens up practice to the media and says, fellas, ladies, gentlemen, come in. You tell me what you see, and then you go tell the public. You don't have to ask me. You see it. I'm just confirming what you're talking. I mean, it's like, you ask him a question pretty directly. Like, yeah, I mean, we're looking at the same stuff. You know, I mean, it's not like he's trying to put number 38 on all of his punters. You know, I mean, he's not trying to play these stupid games that coaches try to play where you're like, hey, man, at some point you're going to have to play in public and people are going to figure you out.
Can't run from this.
Yeah, I mean, he knows what his deficiencies are, and it's gotten to a point where they haven't made the progress that it feels like they expected to make to get to this point. Now they're kind of in a jam. And they're asking Jaden Daniels to now time crunch, bro. You had 7 days in preparation dealing with a sore tailbone and a hurt knee to get ready for Tennessee, and we're asking you from LSU's coaching staff standpoint to really kind of change your ways. You know, or at least open up your mind and shift your mindset of keep the premium on protecting the ball. Always stay up on protecting the ball. But take some shots. Play a little risk reward with the position. Understand who's around you and get those guys the ball. By this point in the schedule, we, or the coaching staff, anticipated that they would be further along. And they're not. So tomorrow, that leash is a little tighter.
How many throws do you think Jaden Daniels has attempted of 20 yards or more this year?
You know the number?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe 5.
I was going to say 8.
10. It's connected on 4 of them. I can remember 1.
Brian Thomas.
Mm-hmm. And what? 1 to Chris Hilton.
Mm-hmm.
Over the middle.
And Hilton had to come back for it.
Yeah.
He was running wide open. And it's not a knock, but I'm just saying, you know, he's uncomfortable throwing it like
right.
that.
That's what he did. You're so wide open, I have to complete this throw instead of the drop it in the bucket, go get it.
Kayshawn first game that he dropped in the back of the end zone.
Yeah. And I think some of that has to do with it where he gave you opportunities early on, and then he was like, I know how to win games. I'm going to do it my way. And because it's been a cavalcade of things, right? Everything has it's this puzzle you're trying to put together, but it always feels like one piece is missing when you need it. Like some of the play designs early on, people were running wide open, he wasn't hitting them. Like you have opportunities to get the ball to wide receivers that are open, they're dropping the ball. Like, and now Jaden Daniels is doing this thing where it's like, I see it, but I'm not going to throw it. Like, I don't want to put the ball up in the air because I don't really trust my guys. I don't trust myself to make a good enough throw. I know what I do trust. These 2 feet can get me 8 yards, and now we're moving the chains.
Staba07 has a good point. Everyone keeps saying throw the ball down the field. He's missed them both, seeing and throwing guys running wide open 5 yards from the line of scrimmage. I agree with that. I think that this narrative is being sold. Throw the ball, push it down the field. And I've been saying push the ball down the field. But what really needs to happen is that he just needs to hit the guys in space. And if that is, you're right, Staba, that he's missed some around the line of scrimmage. I think to that Malik Neighbors crossing route, last week, where he's running wide open, and Malik probably, 8 out of 10 times he probably catches it, but you want him to catch it right here, so he's running in momentum to allow him to make that play. Even if Malik catches that ball,
he still has to stop,
and he's tackled. To me, that's a miss.
Mm-hmm.
Even if he makes the catch and he gets tackled as soon as he grabs it because his body's all moved around and he's got a twist and now get back to start running. SEC's too fast in the middle of the field for as good as Malik is. He can't, you can't give him 2 steps. And if you give somebody 2 steps, you're going to get tackled. If he catches that ball in stride, that open, odds are that guy ain't going to catch him.
He's still running.
Right? So, even if that you're right, those misses are just as crucial as not being able to extend the field. I love some of these little, like last week with Ashford, like these, especially in the first 15 plays. Like the first 15 plays is a great opportunity to get people comfortable, to get people involved, to get people engaged, to get people just bought into the game. And to me, like a simple just like motion Kayshawn across the line of like behind the center and the offensive line with Daniels in a shotgun, fake the running back one way, half roll Daniels and just easy, like meet a Stewie, 4 yards, just pop.
Spider 2 wide banana.
And just get it to Kayshawn with, one-on-one in some space, allow him to make somebody miss and make a nice gain early in the game, get him getting off the ground, clapping his hands, like saying like, all right, I'm feeling it today. And it also kind of in return, you got Daniels thinking, okay, look, man.
This guy's got juice.
Or just let me see somebody catch the ball. We were talking about jump shooters and shooters in basketball. When you're cold and your ball's not, you can't buy one, they tell you, get to the rim, go make a layup or get to the free throw line. Just see the ball go through the net. I think a quarterback struggling with accuracy and, the ball on the ground, just see somebody catch a good pass. And it kind of like, okay, all right, well, I can do this. I'm here. I'm back.
To that point on throws 10 to 19 yards, which is, I think you're talking about even shorter than that, but 10 to 19, there's little mid-range throws. 12 of 25 he is this year. So that also isn't a very good percentage if you're hitting less than 50% on balls that you feel like should probably be completed. So there's some, whether it be receivers that he thinks are going to sit in the zone and they keep going, or just trying to get on the same page. And look, there's been a lot of expectation placed on this team after a slow start, but now that you're 4-1, you have a big game, Tennessee coming into town. The expectations are heightened for LSU because if you win this game, it feels like almost the next step. Like you put Brian Kelly's plan in motion a little bit faster, which is a little bit unfair to what he's built. Like it's a credit to him, but this is a first-year staff of everyone, and it's a first-year group of everyone essentially on both sides of the ball. So for them to be able to even get to this point is a testament to what Brian Kelly could do in a short amount of time. But all these guys have never played together before, and they haven't coached these players before. Yeah. And you're starting to see some of that, when they start getting into, higher up competition. It's continuity versus talent, essentially. Like Heupel has been at Tennessee for 4 years now. You're starting to see his scheme and his what he put into place come to fruition with Hendon Hooker. It takes time, and you're just going to have to hope, if you're an LSU fan, that LSU puts it all together one more week and they can continue to figure this thing out as they go.
Do we have Nathan? Nathan there?
No.
No? Okay. All right, we're going to get out of here a little early.
Sorry, Nate.
No, I was wondering. We were supposed to link up, but we're going to get out a little early on this Friday. Hopefully everybody has a good weekend. Thank you to Iversteins for sending some food over this week, even though the big fella's not going to be here. Josh is out doing some work.
Haven't seen him since Dahmer started.
Yeah. Check out Iverstein's, located right there in the Perkins Crossing Shopping Center. You can also shop iversteinfarms.com online. Get on the Butcher Bundle over there and check them out. iversteinsfarms.com is where you can find them online. Have a great weekend. We'll be out at Tiger Stadium tomorrow. Hopefully you are too. Hit that like button, share button, comment button. Uncle Earl's this afternoon should be a great place to start pre-gaming.
Paulie Gervais coming through.
Oh, nice.
Paulie G with that New York money.
And that'll be 4:30 to 6 over at Uncle Earl's. $100 bar tab over there as well. Check them out at Mic'd Up. Make sure you like, subscribe, and are notified for all the content coming out of here. Have a great weekend. We're back with you on Monday morning. For our friends over at Go Chevrolet, we will talk to you on Monday.
Drinks on G.